Hello everyone. Now in this class, this video, I'll be recording the solution of the questions which were there in the problem sheet based on ozonolysis. So I hope by now you have seen the theory class and you must have attempted the problems as well. So what I'll do is, I'll be reading the questions one by one from that problem sheet, the PDF which I've sent you, and I'll be solving the questions right away. Now question 1, which I can read from the PDF which I sent you, is about question 1. I repeat, is about ethene forming the ozonide and with zinc and water producing 2 moles of formaldehyde. The question reads, why the process is called reductive ozonolysis. I guess we have spoken at length about reductive ozonolysis, the role of zinc, and zinc is going to stop or prevent the oxidation of aldehyde to an acid. In absence of zinc, the aldehyde will get oxidized to an acid and it will become a process of oxidative ozonolysis. So I'll just speak a little bit more about it in the sense. Question 1, CH2 double bond CH2, CH2 double bond CH2. If this is the ozonide, 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 you break it from the left and right in hydration. Now what zinc does is, it neutralizes this oxygen and you end up getting 2 moles of formaldehyde. Remember, the left fragment is HCHO, the right fragment is HCHO. Zinc is going to prevent the oxidation of aldehyde to acid. It prevents the oxidation of aldehyde to acid. So naturally, this oxidation is prevented. You end up getting an aldehyde and not an acid. And naturally, this is called reductive ozonolysis. This is reductive ozonolysis. If you don't take zinc, I'll repeat, this oxygen is going to be one carbonyl, another oxygen is going to be another carbonyl, 2 moles of carbonyl. What about this oxygen? This oxygen is the one which becomes a peroxide. Now zinc would neutralize that peroxide and prevent the oxidation of aldehyde. If you don't take zinc, suppose it's H2O without zinc. I mentioned without zinc. Now without zinc, this formaldehyde would get oxidized by the peroxide and you will get 2 moles of formic acid. Now when you get acid instead of an aldehyde, it becomes a process of oxidative ozonolysis. It's also important to know that oxidative ozonolysis means instead of aldehyde you will get an acid, aldehyde will get oxidized to an acid, and this will be working only on an aldehyde. In due course, you will know aldehydes are easier to oxidize. Aldehydes become acids very readily. Aldehydes are easier to oxidize. Aldehydes are stronger reducing agent than ketones. Ketones are difficult to oxidize. Are things you are going to learn in future. So all of this only for aldehyde, not for ketones, because ketones are anyways difficult to oxidize. Aldehydes, if you don't want them to be oxidized, use zinc. You call it reductive ozonolysis. If you do not take zinc, then naturally it will be a process of oxidative ozonolysis, when instead of an aldehyde, you will get an acid. Only for an aldehyde this will happen. Oxidative ozonolysis will also be the case, or oxidative cleavage, oxidative breaking, fragmentation, alkene to fragments of acids will also be the case if you treat this alkene, with KMnO4, hot concentrated. You will know about 2 reagents. One, hot concentrated KMnO4, acidified KMnO4, acidified or acidic KMnO4. Acidic is a better term to use. Acidic KMnO4 or acidic K2Cr2O7. These are going to be the 2 most popular oxidizing agents. Yes, we know about the 2. We know about the 2 in physical chemistry. We know about the 2 from redox, KMnO4, K2Cr2O7, are the most popular oxidizing agents in inorganic chemistry. That's going to be the case in organic chemistry as well. KMnO4, K2Cr2O7 are very popular oxidizing agents. Certainly, acidic KMnO4 or K2Cr2O7 will cleave the point of double bond and will get 2 moles of formic acid. You will get 2 moles of formic acid. 2 moles of formic acid will also be the case of oxidative ozonolysis, oxidative cleavage. In case you don't want acid, you want formaldehyde, I repeat, you will want to conduct hydrolysis using zinc. So normal ozonolysis is reductive ozonolysis because the product does not get oxidized. And we also know about KMnO4 K2Cr2O7, cleaving the double bond or triple bond and producing acids like you have in oxidative ozonolysis. So remember, KMnO4 which we took in the past was cold dilute alkaline KMnO4. When it was Bayer's reagent and it was a test of unsaturation and you are getting a vicinal diol, 1,2-diol, that was cold dilute alkaline KMnO4. This time it's hot concentrated acidic KMnO4 or acidic K2Cr2O7. Both would do oxidative ozonolysis kind of cleavage. The point of double bond or triple bond will be broken, you will get fragments of acids. If you take zinc, you will get aldehyde via normal or reductive ozonolysis. Now question 2, I am not going to spend a lot of time solving question 2. In the sense, I will not give you the ozonide because most of them I have given the ozonide in the theory class. So right away, I would trust your intellect. I would believe that you would have practiced at home, and this is the time when I start trusting your instinct and expect you to come out with the products right away without drawing the ozonide every time. In case you have a problem, we can always talk about it. By this time, I expect you to have grown up and been good enough to draw the products right away. So we will talk about question 2. We will talk about question 2 and we will want to do it at some pace. So question 2, the first one. Now I see this is a compound like this. Naturally ozonolysis, zinc H2O. If it doesn't mention by default, I believe it's a case of oxidative, reductive ozonolysis. We will break it from this point and the product will be acetone. The left fragment will be acetone, the right fragment will be CH3CHO. The right fragment will be CH3CHO. Naturally, you can join the two oxygen, confirm that this was the original alkene. We move to question B, which is cyclopentene. I will avoid drawing the ozonide. I'll right away break it this way. CHO, CH2, 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 CHO. So this will be CHO, CH2, 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 CHO. You can call it pentane 1,5 diol. You can call it pentane 1,5 diol. Compound C, we spoke at length about it. This was an example in that theory class on ozonolysis. So this will break from 3 points. CHO, 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 CHO. We all know for benzene, the product will be 3 moles of glycol. So all of this was done, in great details in the theory class. I hope you would have done it of your own. E is a case of diene. Now question E, I can see something like this. So yet again, if it's a diene, you will get 3 fragments. This will be the left. This will be the one to the right, and in between you will get CHO. So the product would be acetone. CHO, which you can call it glycol. Naturally, it is CHO glycol, and the fragment from the right would be formaldehyde. So 3 carbon acetone, 3 carbon ketone acetone. A dicarbonyl glycol and formaldehyde is how you go about finding the ozonolysis product of compound E. You will want to check your answers. I won't say you want to copy, rather I would believe you would have done it of your own by now. So you want to check your answers and we'll move to the rest of the questions. So after 2 ka E, there is FNG, and H. So compound F, and it looks like this. You have a cyclohexene with a methyl branching here. I would believe you understand it by now. This is going to be a ketonic group. It's going to be a ketonic group. Learn this. The way of numbering, the way of naming these compounds, because so many times in the real exam you will be asked to take an option which is the IUPAC name. So you need to be good at IUPAC name as well. Aldehyde has higher priority than ketone. Plus it's always the terminal group. So you're going to call it 6-oxo or 6-keto heptanol because it's a 7 carbon chain with aldehyde as its functional group. We move to G, which looks like a which looks like a triene. It looks like a triene. And naturally, if it's a triene, you will get 1, 2, 3 and 4 fragments. You will get 4 fragments, and the 4 fragments will be ethanol. The 4 fragments will be ethanol plus CHO, 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 which means 2 moles of glycol, 2 moles of glycol, and naturally the terminal one will be formaldehyde. So I expect you to have done it of your own by now, and we'll move to the last one. The last one, again, a very similar question was there in the theory class, so I expect you to have done it by now. You break it this way, you break it this way, and you realize you'll have 2 ketonic group at both the ends, and the product might look like, the product might look like, the product might look like this. The product might look like this. So we want to now name it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Heptane 2,6 dione. Heptane, you can call it heptane 2,6 dione. And with this, we're done with question 2. With this, we're done with question 2. I hope you would have done most of it of your own. You know, it's a simple topic, very little chemistry involved, very basic, very basic visualization and aptitude required. You would have done it of your own. We move to question 3. Where you have the products given, and from the products you have to deduce the structure of the alkene. Now this is a very popular question from ozonolysis. This is a very popular question. So I hope you would have again attempted it by now, and we're going to keep checking your answers. We'll move to the third question, where several isomers of C6H12 are given. Several isomers of C6H12 are given. And from their ozonolysis products, we have to predict the structure. So you'll want to have, a hard copy of the problem sheet. Every time I send you a problem sheet, I keep on saying you'll want to have a hard copy of the same. And isomer A, C6H12, isomer A, which is giving you acetone only. So acetone only means you'll have 2 moles of acetone. Because it's a 3 carbon compound, you have a 6 carbon structure to deal with. Naturally, acetone only will mean there are 2 moles of acetone. And A in that case will look like this. A in that case will look like this. Similarly, B, if the ozonolysis product is given as 2-butanone plus acetaldehyde. 2-butanone plus acetaldehyde. If it is 2-butanone plus acetaldehyde, any day, you can take these 2 oxygen together and draw B as a compound of this kind. Draw B as a compound of this kind. You can always check. Naturally, if you break it this way, you will get a 4-carbon ketone, and you will get ethanol. Also, you will want to be good at naming the compound. So certainly, when you name it, the longest chain will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbon chain. The longest chain will be a 5 carbon chain with a methyl here. So you might want to call it 3-methyl-pent-2-ene. You might want to call it 3-methyl-pent-2-ene. And this will be compound B, this will be compound B. Compound C gives you propanol only. So naturally propanol only will mean, just a minute. Compound C will mean propanol only. Compound C means propanol only. So naturally there will be 2 moles of propanol. If C means propanol only, there will be 2 moles of propanol, and you will want to keep them next to each other. So suppose you write one propanol this way, you write another propanol this way, and you will want to remove these 2 oxygen atoms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Compound C might well be hex 3-ene. The good thing again in problems of this kind is you can always carry out a check. Suppose you break it from this point, you can get propanol from left as well as right. Compound D is a little tricky. Because in compound D they tell you 3 pentanone. In compound D they give you 3 pentanone. Now before drawing D, maybe I'll want to remove this clutter, and certainly in D the only compound given is 3 pentanone. Mind you, according to the new rules of IUPAC nomenclature, 3 pentanones would be called pentane 3-ol. You know, earlier this was allowed, but now you always have to name the number, the position before, just before the functional group. Anyways, 3 pentanone will be just a 5 carbon carbonyl. So when you get 3 pentanone, naturally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you will only get a 5 carbon component. Now listen carefully. You have to draw a 6 carbon alkene, you have to draw a 6 carbon alkene, and you get a fraction which is 5 carbon long. You get a fraction which is 5 carbon long. So naturally, another product has to be formaldehyde. This may or may not be given. This may or may not be given if the initial alkene is a 6 carbon compound and the product contains only 5 carbon. You know, this is a natural logical understanding that along with the 5 carbon component you will have a 1 carbon component, and the only 1 carbon carbonyl you know is methanol. So this goes without saying. This may or may not be given in the problem. And again, eventually I think it's a very simple assumption to make. It's a simple assumption to make. A smart person will realize that, you know, there is 1 carbon missing, and you know it could be just 1 mole of methanol, formaldehyde. Otherwise, you want to remember this. You know, you add a CH2 here, and certainly D is going to be a compound like this. D is going to be a compound like this. D is going to be a compound like this. You break it, perform a check, formaldehyde, and 3 pentanone. A very similar case is question 4. A previous year IIT problem. Question 4 is a very similar case. C5H8. It's an old IIT problem, and then I recall it has come in almost all exams of this country. Way back it came in WBJ when the paper was subjective. C5H8, and what they give you is 2-ketopropanol plus formaldehyde. 2-ketopropanol plus formaldehyde. Two things. I keep on saying you will want to know the name of a compound, and again from the name you should be good at deriving the structure of the compound. So C5H8, 2-ketopropanol, first of all is going to look like this. This is how 2-ketopropanol will look like. Plus formaldehyde. And yet again, when you count the number of carbon atoms, 1, 2, 3 and 4, you have a 5 carbon unsaturated compound to begin with. Now naturally, when there are 5 carbon atoms here and 1, 2, 3 and 4 only, I repeat, you will have to believe that formaldehyde here is 2 moles. That's the only way you can grasp the structure of this molecule. So, you know, a little bit of smartness is required. C5H8 giving you 2-ketopropanol plus formaldehyde. The count is 1, 2, 3, 4. That means you want 2 moles of formaldehyde. You want to place a formaldehyde here, and suppose if you do that, you place a formaldehyde here and you place a formaldehyde here. Well, this is how you arrive at the structure of the C5H8. Which might look like this. This will be C5H8 which you are looking for. Formaldehyde there, formaldehyde here, and this is 2-ketopropanol. You will also confirm that C5H8 will have degree of unsaturation 2, which will mean 2 pi bonds. So yet again, this was a little bit of trick involved. Question 5, as I can see, is orthoxylene. Now, I talked about orthoxylene in that theory class in great details. So, I am not going to repeat the solution of question 5. You will want to go back to the theory class or the notes which you have taken down. I hope you are happy till this point. I hope you got most of the answers right of your own. And question 5, you know, this was done in the theory class. Orthoxylene. I'll just refer the question. On ozonolysis, zinc H2O, you will get total 3 types of ozonolysis products. What you have to keep in mind is every time you draw for, this is maybe the structure printed in the question paper. This is maybe the structure printed in the PDF or the paper, the problem sheets which I have sent you. But you will want to consider both these structures. you will want to consider both these structures. You will want to consider both these structures in the sense, obviously the 3 pi bonds are in resonance. The 3 pi bonds are in resonance. The 3 pi bonds are in resonance. So while drawing the ozone-Lass's product, I have spoken at length about it in the theory class yet again. I'll just do it once more time. You get Glycol and butane 2,3-dione. Butane 2,3-dione. So this is 2 moles of Glycol. Considering the structure, you will get 2 moles of Glycol and butane 2,3-dione. From structure A, you get 1 type of compound, 2 type of compound. Now you will get Glycol here as well. But from this structure, you will get 2 ketopropanol. You know, you will want to start imagining this, predicting this. And the third type of compound which you get from here is certainly 2 moles of CH3C double bond of CHO. So although I kept on saying that you should refer to the theory class, I ended up giving you the solution only. 1, 2, 3. 3 types of ozone-Lass's product. A very nice question, a very popular question. We'll talk about question 6. Question 6, C9H14. We'll talk about question 6, C9H14. Now we'll want to do it quickly. C9H14. Had it been saturated, it would have been C9H20. CnH2n plus 2 is the formula of saturated hydrocarbon. So C9H14 instead of C9H20 has 6 carbon less or 3 pair of hydrogen missing or degree of unsaturation 3. Recall everything I told you about degree of unsaturation. Degree of unsaturation 3, you will want to draw a structure which is compatible to degree of unsaturation 3. You will want to always read the problem while I am solving it for you. In this case, you don't have to do too much. You just have to join the ends. So compound 6, C9H14, along with all the information I gave you about degree of unsaturation, this is the most vital one. Along with all the information which I give you, this is the most vital one because this is all is required. You just need to join the 2 ends. And when you join the 2 ends, you can draw it like an envelope. You can draw it like this. You can bring it in this way. Maybe place a pi bond here. So I told you it's going to look like an envelope. Or you can keep it, above the ring. Doesn't matter because the stereochemistry is not required right now. What's required is whether you can eventually take an option like this or not. So this or this both look alright. This and this both look alright. And naturally, there are 2 rings, 1 pi bond, so degree of unsaturation is 3. We move to question 7. C4H6, and the products are Glycol and formaldehyde. Yet again, 4 carbon to begin with, 2 plus 1, 3. The same trick now. And you would have learned it by now, 4 carbon to begin with, 2 plus 1, 3 carbon overall. So this must be 2 moles, and then it's a simple gas. You will want to keep HCHO to the left, CHO in between, and another HCHO to the right, and you will want to join it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This must be the compound. It's called buta 1,3 diene. And I'm sure some of you would have done it. I would love to know that most of you got it right. C4H6, buta 1,3 diene, buta 1,3 diene, degree of unsaturation 2. We move to question 8, C8H12, which on ozone-Lass's is giving you a cyclic ring with COOH. Now this is very much accepted, provided you don't take zinc. If you don't take zinc, naturally you will get acid instead of an aldehyde. If you don't take zinc, you will get acid instead of an aldehyde. So the problem might be C8H12 on ozone-Lass's and hydration without zinc, mind you, giving you COOH. You might think, you will believe that in presence of zinc, this might well have been the aldehyde. You can imagine the corresponding aldehyde and do the needful. Remove the 2 oxygen atoms. This is simple as it looks. And I'm sure some of you would have done it. You can cross check You know, C8H12, C8H12, C8H18 is required to make it saturated. 6 hydrogen missing, 3 pair of hydrogen missing. Degree of unsaturation is 3. Just in case you don't understand this, you will want to revise the degree of unsaturation. 3 means 1, 2 ring and 1 pi bond. So everything is justified. We move to question 9, which is C6H8, C6H8 on ozonolysis giving you malonic acid only. Now first of all, you cannot afford to forget the name malonic acid. This is malonic acid, malonic acid. Propane 1,3 dicarboxylic acid. Propane 1,3 dioic acid. Now C6H8, a 6 carbon compound giving you a 3 carbon fragment will again mean you get 2 moles of this. You know, these molecular interpretations have to be done by you. 2 moles of malonic acid, and what we want to do is you will imagine the 2 CHO, you will imagine the 2 CHO, because here again it could be a case of oxidative ozonolysis without zinc. So you know, you can imagine it to be CHO with zinc around, and you will want to join it this way. You will want to join it this way. So it eventually becomes a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a 6-membered ring, where maybe a pi bond here and a pi bond here would mean CHO, CH2, CHO, CH2, CH2, CHO. You can do the cross check, you can cut it this way and find 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2 moles of malonic acid. So this is C6H18, this is C6H18, which I again believe most of you would have got by now. We are nearing the end of the problem sheet, just 2 problems left. You know, question 10, C8H14. I hope you must have got most of this right of your own. So question 10, which is C8H14. Question 10, which is C8H14. Some bit of it, you know, a little bit of it, you know, would be very helpful for your school exams as well. And trust me, with no sarcasm, anything which I teach you would to a very large extent help you in all kind of exams. And when I emphasize that, you know, it's going to help you to some extent in school exams as well, because school examiners, they're very fond of reactions like this. You know, these are like very routine questions in the school exam. Trust me, it's going to help in the school exam. C8H14. Although, you know, there will be simpler applications there. Acetone, acetaldehyde 1,3-propane-diol. So I write question 10, which is C8H14, giving you acetone, acetaldehyde and propane 1,3-diol. Acetone, acetaldehyde and propane 1,3-diol. So I write propane 1,3-diol right away in this way. And remember what I told you, you will want to keep this at the center, you will want to keep this at the center. So maybe you will want to keep CHO this way and acetaldehyde this way. See what I do, I bring it in the center and this is another corner. So you know, this is what you will always want to do, and maybe this is how you will always get the right answer. CH3 here, see, simple as it. Simple as it looks. 8 carbon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This will give you acetone, ethanol, and propane 1,3-diol. We talk about the last question, which is question 11. C7H12, a compound which on ozonolysis gives you 6-oxoheptanol. Now 6-oxoheptanol, first of all needs to be written precisely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is CHO, a double bond O here, and certainly you will want to join the 2. You will want to join the 2. 6-oxoheptanol. What I can do is, maybe once you have checked question 10, I can, you know, remove this clutter, and now I want to draw 6-oxoheptanol. Isomer A giving you 6-oxoheptanol. So this is 6-oxoheptanol, which will give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-membered ring, and A must be a 6-membered ring, which may be a branching here. So this is carbon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can very easily do a cross check. If it breaks from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6 will be holding the ketonic group. This is isomer A. Isomer B Isomer B, which gives you 1,7-heptane diol, 1,7-heptane diol, heptane 1,7 diol. You know, CHO 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know, this is how you do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You will want to draw a 7-membered ring. You will want to draw a 7-membered ring. You will want to practice drawing a 7-membered ring. I am going to be generally better at it. You know, I have drawn it several times. Do a cross check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is how you get heptane 1,7 diol, and B must be an alkene like this. B must be an alkene like this. Finally, 2,6-heptane dione. And isomer C with the same formula. Isomer C with the same formula. Heptane 2,6 dione. Isomer C giving you 2,6-heptane dione or heptane 2,6 dione. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's going to be a 5-membered ring. It's going to be a 5-membered ring with 2 branching. So C must have been a structure like this. So you can again do a cross check. CS3 C double bond O, CS2 CS2 CS2, C double bond O, CS3. So this is compound C, this compound B, and certainly this compound A. And this is how we'll want to complete questions on ozonolysis with some basic aptitude and some basic practice. I keep on telling you, whatever you do in organic chemistry, you always want to sit down with a pen and paper. The more you practice, the more you draw these structures, the quicker you're going to be good at drawing 6-membered, 7-membered, 5-membered rings. And at some point of time, I tell you, it becomes instinctive to the extent you can visualize the molecule. So you'll want to be good at it with more practice. This much for the time being. Thank you so much.